In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create a video easily using ScreenCastOMatic using Google Chrome. Now, I've already added it to mine, but let me just show you. You can see the URL here, ScreenCastOMatic/blog/ScreenCastOMatic, and then Chrome browser extension, so forth. You can probably just type in ScreenCastOMatic plus Google Chrome in a browser to find this page if you need to find it, but it's pretty easy to find. This is actually not their home page. This is their page for using ScreenCastOMatic with Google Chrome. Now, I'm going to click on this link here, and when you click on it, when I click on it, notice it says remove from Chrome. That's because I've already got mine added to Chrome. But there should be a link here that you can add to Chrome. And I believe to add it to Chrome, you either have to have a Google account or maybe a Facebook account might work as well. But either way, you just have to have a Google or a Facebook account that you can log into. And you can see that I'm using an account that I just created, an email account that I never use here, theperfectsquare@gmail.com. And, you know, I have a password that it automatically has me logged in. So anyway, once you add this to Google Chrome, you'll see this little circle with a square in the middle, or maybe it's a circle. And so when you're ready to use ScreenCastOMatic, and now I'm already using it, so it's going to be a little bit weird here. So I tell you what, I'm not going to click on it, but if you click on this, it'll probably ask you to log in if you're not already logged in. But I'm afraid to click on it because I'm afraid it might mess things up here. But when you click on this, it'll prompt you to log in if you're not already logged in, and then it'll give you a prompt to open the screen recorder, which is what you see here on the screen is the screen recorder. And down here with the screen recorder, I have my commands, and you can't really see it here probably, but there's a command window that comes up here that gives you some options that you can do, and you can actually change the way you do the video. You can do three things. You can do just what's on the screen, or you can do just your picture, so all the students would see would be your face talking to them, or you can choose one that has picture-in-picture where they see what's on the screen, but maybe over here you can move it around. There's a little window over here that's got your face, or a little window up here that has your face, or wherever you want to put it. You can move that window wherever you want to. So there's actually three ways that you can set the window, and the command center, it'll either be down here toward the bottom or it'll be up here toward the top. It really depends on how you set your screen up. So anyway, again, you can't see that right now, but I can pause the video right now if I wanted to by going down here and clicking pause. And you probably didn't even know I paused it, but I paused it, and then when I clicked record again, it gave me a countdown 3, 2, 1, and it lets me record. So it'll record anything on the screen. Now, if you don't want the recording to have the sounds from the computer, like if you get an email or if you get a Facebook prompt or something like that, and it gives a little ding on the computer, there's actually a way in this command center down here I was talking about. You can actually turn that volume on so that it'll actually play what's coming out of the computer. So anyway, I usually leave it off because I don't want any dings and beeps going off from my computer during a video. But anyway, once you pull this up, you'll see the command center. Now, let me just tell you how I do videos. It's fairly simple. What I do is I create a PDF document, and I'm going to open that PDF document here. So I'm going to open one that's product rule and quotient rule for Calculus 1, or it could be used for business calculus. And then what I like to do is I click on this comment button, double click that, and it's going to give me these comment tools. And if you want all of them, then click on this and expand it, and it'll give you all of them. Now, after I do that, I do that before I start the video, and then I also click this over so that I have a bigger screen. Okay, so now as I'm lecturing through my video, I'll just give you just a quick example here. So I can use this pen button here, and I can say, okay, today class we're going to talk about the product and the quotient rule, and I'll just go straight down here to the rule, and I'll say, all right, now the product rule is if you want to highlight it a different way, you can choose a rectangle. The product rule says that if you want to find the derivative of the product of two functions f of x times g of x, then you take the first function f of x times the derivative of the second function g of x, so that would be g prime of x, plus the second function times the derivative of the first function f of x. And then I show them the shorthand notion. I have to click this again if I want to highlight the shorthand notion. And in this video, in this document, I actually have kind of a silly example that shows them how you could take x to the fifth and write it as x cubed times x squared. Since they know the derivative of x to the fifth is 5x to the fourth, I show them how the product rule works if you write x to the fifth as x cubed times x squared, and then using the product rule, it actually gives them here the answer, 5x to the fourth. And if you want an arrow, just hit the Alt button, and so the Alt button will give you an arrow, so that way you can easily point to something there. And let me just show you some other things I can do here using this. I really love this method. So here's an example using the product rule. So if I wanted to, I could click the bar button, and I could choose a bar to highlight that. And if I wanted to, I could use a circle as I'm explaining something. I'll say, okay, here's the first function, and then times the derivative. You got to click it right here. It's not working for me. Here we go. There we go. All right. Then times the derivative of the second function. And then I say, okay, then you take the second function here, and then you multiply it by the derivative of the, come on, work for me here. All right, times the derivative of the first function. Now, you know, that might be overkill, but mainly I just use this pen tool up here and use that. Now, if you don't want them to see the pen tool, you can hide it. You can move your screen down to where it starts right here, and the students can't actually see you choosing these tools. So that's something you can do there. But I'm doing it this way so you can actually see the tools that I'm using. Now, another thing, like for instance, if I wanted during the video, if I wanted to tell the students something, I could pause the video. So let's say I paused the video, I opened a text box here, and I wrote this text in here. So maybe I tell the students, well, the shorthand version I'm using here is that the derivative of uv is uv prime plus vu prime. Now, I know that's really not the exact notation, but that's good enough for me. Now, if I didn't want to use that, I could get rid of that. Let's see, I'm going to click on it, then I'm going to just hit delete, and it'll delete that. And if I didn't want to use the text box, I could, you know, see how good I am at drawing on here. Let's see, I could say, okay, the derivative of uv is, it's better with a mouse. I'm using the little pad right now, but I'm better with a mouse. So UV prime plus V, and again, I could pause the video so I'm not wasting time here while I'm doing this. All right, so that's just another thing you can do. But notice, as long as you have the examples, as long as you have these examples all ready to roll, you can go through and go through step by step. You can go through step by step what you want students to see, and you can see here. So basically, let me just finish with, you know, what would I do here? How would I explain this in a video? So I'd say, okay, if this was a Cal 1 class, I'd say, all right, let's say we want to find the derivative of this function. Okay, well, we know that this function here is going to be u, and this function here is going to be v. So I want to take u times v prime. So there's my u, and I tell students this just means I'm fixing to take the derivative of this, and then add to that v times u prime. And so now I've got the v function, and I'm fixing to take the derivative of u here. And then I say, well, we just need to bring this down, so you have x squared times the derivative of cosine x, which is minus sine x. And then you have cosine x times the derivative of x squared, which is 2x. So your answer is going to be x squared times minus sine x, which is minus x squared. Let's use a box here. So your answer is minus x squared sine x plus 2x cosine x. Okay, and you know, there are some other tools you could use if you wanted to highlight something. You know, there's a highlight tool. There's actually a text tool that you may have used here, where you could just go in here and just type text, you know, rather than using a text box. And then of course you've got all these other weird shaped tools like this, and I like using this tool if I'm doing something geometrically, because I can go, okay, like in linear programming, I can say, okay, I'm going to go here, and then here, and then here, and then here. Like if I'm mapping out a region in linear programming in a two-dimensional graph, I can say this would be the feasible region, and then I can say this is the 4 corner points. Okay, so anyway, you can just play with that and do it. Now, when you're finished, you only have 15 minutes on this, and when you're finished, you're going to hit pause, and then you're going to click on a little, I think it's a little house button that looks like a little house button you click on, and it'll ask you if you want to save it to your computer like video file, or if you want to put it directly into YouTube, or if you want to upload it to your account. But for that you have to have a ScreenCastOMatic account. So what I would suggest you do is I would suggest you save it as a video file, tell it where you want it saved, and then give it a name, and then save it to your computer, and it'll take it a few minutes to process. And then after it's processed, I move my files to YouTube, and I upload them to YouTube, and then I use the YouTube links to put the files in my course. Now, what I found out now, if you do this with ScreenCastOMatic or you do it with YouTube, and you actually upload the entire videos in your course, you'll eventually get a prompt saying that you used up too much bandwidth in Blackboard. So you definitely don't want to just upload the entire video in there. You want to upload the video links, and that's whether you're using YouTube or Kaltura. Okay, so hopefully that helps you understand how I create videos for my courses. One last thing, I said there was a little house. That was actually the trash can that you'll see. It's actually a word that says done is what you click on at the end.